Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to do a story titled, I told my husband the truth about something that happened in the beginning of our relationship, and now I feel like I destroyed our marriage. And a shout out to Bill for sending in this story. And guys, this story is yet another meltdown of a wife who's gone to Reddit looking for a whole lot of pity because she ruined the relationship and the marriage. In a nutshell, husband here found out that at the beginning of their relationship, not marriage, relationship, she was cheating on him with a dude she was seeing. And of course, that means the whole foundation of their relationship marriage is a bunch of crap. It's false. And this guy's done with her. And he's essentially demoted her right now to a roommate or probably the occasional side piece. And she's losing it. And this whole thing here, aside from being pretty entertaining, is going to really make the point of a couple things. First off, the first part of this, what I'm going to cover here, what she wrote, is just explaining what's going on, and she's been demoted to a roommate and crying her eyes out and all that. And the second part is actually from the comment section, where she goes through this whole thing trying to justify what she did, blaming her childhood and all this type of stuff. And it's a classic example of the excuses and BS that they'll make, or a lot will make, and it's to justify bad behavior, expecting pity. And you should never fall for it. And what's interesting, guys, is that this is actually another post that he posted, the husband, telling the story, which goes to show you that she is given a lot of trickle truth here about what's really happening, not getting the full story. Big surprise. And if you guys want to hear the husband's version, just let me know, and I'll definitely do that whole story. And so, and by the way, guys, before I get into it, I announced a couple days ago, if you haven't done so already, come check me out on Locals or Patreon. It's $10 a month, and for $10 a month, you get all my videos from all three channels commercial free on there. I know a lot of you hate the commercials on here. Over there on the platform, you subscribe, no commercials. And you get them all 48 hours in advance before they hit YouTube. So if I post a video on a Friday, well, these will come out on the platform on a Wednesday. Also, every week you get exclusive video that I can't put out here on YouTube, as well as being able to comment all you want, censorship-free environments. It's a really good deal. Come check it out. And if you're not quite ready to become a paying supporter, you can become a free member just to see what it's all about. Definitely come on by and check it out. I'll have a link in the description as well as the top of the comment section. Okay, getting into her crybaby fest. She says, I never thought I would write something like this, but I really need honest advice and perspective because I feel completely lost. My husband and I have been married for 5 years. We have 2 young kids, 3 and 2 years old. I love my husband deeply, and before this happened, I truly believe we had a strong marriage and a beautiful family. Well, maybe in your mind, but obviously not for him because it was all built on a lie. My husband always had before I met my husband, I had an affair with someone. Amazing how this happens so often. When I met my now husband, we had only known each other for about 3 months, and we started living together very quickly. During that early period, I was still involved with the other person, and I slept with him. My husband always had a feeling that something was wrong. Well, this is why you trust your gut. For the entire 5 years of our marriage, he asked me, and I had doubts. I was afraid that if I told him the complete truth, that I would lose him. So I only admitted small parts and never gave him the full truth. Right there. In other words, he trickled truth. He knew something was up. His gut was telling him. I always tell you, trust your gut, guys. But I obviously married her and stayed with her, and then she was giving him the trickle truth. And her excuse, I didn't want to lose him. Well, last night, everything came out. He told me he knew. And finally, I told him everything. No, she didn't. There ain't no way she told him everything. He's devastated. He says that I betrayed him for 5 years, not only because of what happened back then, but because I continued hiding the truth. He says our whole life feels like a big lie, and that the marriage he believed in never existed. It is a lie, built on a foundation of lies, and she knew she was in the wrong, but she was selfish. He removed his wedding ring, deleted our pictures from social media, changed his profile picture, and told me that he does not love me anymore. He said he loved me before, but now he doesn't feel the same way. He said he doesn't want to sleep in the same bed that I do, and that maybe we will just live like roommates because we have kids. demoting her to her roommate, and probably the occasional side piece when he wants to get some. Frankly, he should divorce her, and because the kids are going to grow up in an environment seeing this and it ain't going to be pretty. I don't blame him. You can't blame him at all. At the same time, he told me that I need to work on myself, that he believes some of my actions came from childhood trauma, fear, and insecurity. He said that maybe if I truly change and work on myself, one day we could try to starting again. Smack! No. Terrible idea. He's saying this because obviously he knows it's going to be a tough environment with a divorce with the kids and all that, but this is not going to work. And, oh yeah, by the way, remember guys, this is why you do your homework on a girl you get married to, obviously. If she comes from a lot of trauma and turmoil in her childhood, even though it's not her fault, a lot of times these people carry into adulthood, that could impact your family. And right here, she says, I understand why he's hurt. I'm not trying to justify what I did. Bullshit. She's going to go through this whole thing of her justifying it in a couple of minutes. I know hiding the truth for years caused another wound, and I deeply regret that. Since that time, I've never cheated on him and wanted anybody else. I love him and I love our family. Right now, I feel completely broken. I barely sleep, I feel sick, I cry constantly, and I don't know how to handle all this. I've never felt so afraid of losing somebody. You brought this mess upon yourself. If she would have told him in the beginning, there would have been a chance that maybe he would, give her another chance. But after 5 years of this and having kids, good luck. But I also know this is not only about fear of losing him. I truly want to help him heal from the pain I caused. Seeing him hurt because of my actions is heartbreaking. I know I cannot take away his pain or expect him to forgive me very quickly. In his post, guys, he goes into all this stuff. He's put on a lot of weight. He's having health problems because of this. Yeah. I want to understand what he's going through, support him, and give him the time and space he needs. I want to work on myself, understand why I made these choices, and become a better person. Not only for him or our kids, but because I don't want to fear the old wounds to control my life anymore. I know I cannot change the past, I cannot undo the hurt I caused, but I want to show him through my actions that I can be honest, trustworthy, and different moving forward. My question is it possible to rebuild trust after something like this? Has anyone been through a situation where a relationship survived after a major betrayal? What can I do right now to give my husband the best chance to heal while also working on myself? I'd really appreciate honest advice, even if it's difficult to hear. Well, a lot of people give her a hard time, understandably, in the comment section. Best things you can do is give this guy space and take care of the kids if they're still living in the house. Do the cooking, do the cleaning, all that, give him space. And he wants a divorce or he wants to live with his roommates, you leave him the hell alone. You don't keep badgering him all the time, and you don't give him bullshit. But we're about to hear an endless amount of bullshit in a moment, guys. Her trying to justify her actions here, and always there's the justifications, because cheaters always will find some reason, excuse for this. And remember, believe me, she admitted earlier that she was trickle-truthing him for years. This is her comment in the comment section to a bunch of people. She did this many times. She says, no, I was never in a relationship with that coworker. We texted and talked, but we were never together, and there was never a real relationship between us. No, they just hooked up. At one point, I enjoyed the attention and that I met my now husband. Everything happened very quickly. I fell in love with my husband, but because of everything I'd been through my childhood, here we go, I could not believe that someone could genuinely love me. My parents were divorced. I did not meet my biological father until I was 25. My mother remarried when I was 6, and her husband did bad things to me. My mother never protected me. To be honest, there were large parts of my childhood that I barely remember. Well, she probably blocked them out because of trauma. That's horrible if, these things happened to her as a kid, that her stepfather did inappropriate, awful things to her. That's why you get help. But even then, she's one of these people who thinks that, well, basically, I'm garbage, so therefore any guy treats me well, obviously I got to screw the whole thing up. Because of that, I never really learned what healthy, genuine love looked like. I did not believe that someone could love me sincerely without conditions or pain attached to it. Looking back, I understand how wrong it was to continue seeking attention or maintaining inappropriate communication with somebody else, when I already had a partner who truly loved me. Bullshit. You can't tell me when she was young she didn't know that was the wrong thing. She had a guy treat her well, was loving to her, and meanwhile she was effing some other dude behind his back. Come on here. That's an excuse. At the time the cheating happened, my husband and I were not married yet. We were in a committed relationship. That does not change what I did or lessen my responsibility in any way. I was with someone who loved me, trusted me, and was building a future with me. And I betrayed that trust. Whether we were married or not is not the point. The point is I lied. I hid the truth, and I hurt someone who did not deserve it. Well, that's all very true, and that's good she's saying that, but still, too little, too late. She knew what she was doing was wrong, and throughout the marriage, she trickled truth and lied because he knew something didn't feel right. One of my biggest problems was that I always craved attention. This is the third time she talked about attention. Attention, attention, attention. I told you guys it's always about attention and validation because I've been deprived of it most of my life. My husband gave me love and attention even then, but I simply could not believe it was real. So his attention wasn't enough. I was so used to instability, rejection, and disappointment that I did not know how to fully accept genuine love when it was right in front of me. Boo-hoo. Again, guys, this is why you never be a white knight to the damaged girls. Now, did her husband know she was damaged? I don't know. He certainly should have, but a lot of guys think, I'm going to save that girl from that bad family she grew up in. Well, that damaged girl is going to come and be married to you, and that can mess things up. She says, when the cheating happened, for the first time in my life, I felt disgusted with myself and an overwhelming remorse. I came home and did not have the courage to tell him the truth. Well, obviously, he didn't feel that much remorse. As a child, I learned that telling the truth never led to safety. No matter what happened, I was always blamed, punished, or hurt. Because of that, I developed a habit of hiding difficult truths or revealing them little by little, hoping to avoid pain and consequences. Come on, here she is trying to justify her trickle-truthing him. You're not a little girl anymore where you have effed up parents and all that. You're with a good guy and you should have told him the truth. I know this is not an excuse. Yeah, but you're doing it anyway. It is simply part of who I became because of my upbringing. And it's something I have had to work on. Doesn't sound like you're doing a lot of work to me, sweetheart. The reason for my actions is still entirely mine. I never found the courage to tell him because I was terrified of losing him. Then he shouldn't have screwed up in the first place. Well, back then you may have been, who knows what percentage chance you would have lost him, but now it's overwhelmingly high chance you're going to lose him. For the first time in my life, I feel truly loved. I was selfish, and I admit that, but I also loved him. It is true that I deleted some phone calls and messages with that coworker. It is also true that I made the decision to stop everything. That was the first and last time I ever cheated. Yeah, sure. After that, I never had any appropriate contact with him ever again, nor with any other man. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I have a hard time believing this. I never hid my phone from my husband. Then, just as now, he had access to my passwords, social media accounts, my bank accounts, and everything else. After what happened, I changed jobs and cut contact with everyone from that workplace, not just that coworker. The truth is that the foundation of our relationship was damaged by my silence. That's putting it mildly. Way to minimize damaged. Try destroyed. That is something that has haunted me for years. My husband deserved the truth, and I did not have the courage to give it to him. You were being selfish because you wanted to protect what you had. Over the years, we went through many difficult things together. I cut contact with my mother because of her toxic behavior and jealousy. I cut contact with parts of the family after I stopped sending them money. I met my biological father and his family. My husband lost his job. One challenge came after another, and at the same time, we became parents of 2 kids. Yes, life has its challenges, and anybody thinks that life is just a smooth ride, guess what? I got news for you. When my husband lost his job and struggled to find another one, I ended my maternity leave early and returned to work full-time to help support our family. I did not do that because I felt guilty. I did it because I love my family and wanted to get help carry the burden. I know that some people may find that difficult to understand, but it is the truth. My entire life changed. I worked on myself. I devoted myself to our kids, our home, our schedules, and our future. I worked, I showed up, I tried every day to be a better partner and mother. And yet, deep down inside, she knew the foundation was a lie. And he was obviously asking her along the way, as she mentioned in the beginning. My husband has always been able to see my location through my find me. I did not continue living a double life. I did not continue cheating. I did not seek attention from other men. I did not repeat what I had done. She mentioned the whole attention thing 3 times before she just said, I no longer seek attention from other men. They crave attention all the time. I have a hard time buying that one. My biggest failure after the cheating itself was my fear. Fear of losing the person I love. Fear of destroying the life that we were building together. That fear turned me into someone who stayed silent. Today I'm not looking for excuses. I knew I was wrong. But this whole thing is full of excuses. I know I was selfish. I know I should have told the truth much sooner. Our kids are his. I have no problem doing a DNA test because I know that without any doubt. I would advise him to do a DNA test. The weight gain, the struggles, and the pain my husband experienced over the years are things I thought about countless times. I know that my dishonesty affected him in ways I may never fully understand. The only thing I can say is I'm deeply sorry. I regret what I did. I regret hiding it. I regret not having the courage to tell the truth when I should have. If I could go back in time and change my actions, I would. Well, you don't have the DeLorean. You can't do that. But I cannot. All I can do now is tell the truth, take responsibility for what I did, and accept whatever consequences come with it. But are you able to accept the consequences, what come with it? You're hoping like hell because you're on Reddit and getting advice that he'll stay married to you and all that. Are you really ready to accept the consequence that he'll say, you know what? No, this isn't going to work. I'm done. I want a divorce. Probably not. Now, again, guys, this goes to show when you have a relationship built on a big giant lie, it affects everything. Maybe that guy would have given her a second chance if she told him immediately back then. Who knows? I mean, he got involved with her knowing about her damaged past and all that stuff like that. Or maybe he just didn't understand, I think he was a white knight. But this is why you don't get involved with gals that are seriously damaged. It's not their fault what happens as kids, but a lot of times people, both men and women that have bad childhoods, don't get the care they need to work on that. And it affects their present and future relationships. You can see right here. But the whole thing here, guys, I'm hearing just excuses after excuses after excuses here. And maybe she's been the model wife ever since she cheated on him at the beginning of the relationship. Who knows? And that's nice and all, but still, she lied to him. And whenever he suspected things were wrong, she gave him the trickle truth, which you'll find it more in his take of the whole thing. So I say, hey, best thing she can do is just give him space, and whatever decision he comes up with, she has to respect that. And if he wants a divorce, give him an amicable divorce. That's the best thing you do to redeem yourself. And if he does give you a second chance, don't fuck it up. But anyhow, guys, this is my point about the excuses and all that. Good Lord in heaven. And another one going to Red to whine and complain. Or if he stays with her and Demotes are nothing more than a roommate and a side piece, then she's got to choose whether she accepts it or not. But anyway, guys, there you go. Now, if you guys want to hear his take on the whole thing, let me know, and I'll definitely cover that video. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sure you like the video. Share it with your friends and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.